All right, guys, I think we're going to get started. We have had a bit of an accident on the freeway, so we'll probably get a few people here coming in as they get here. But we'll get started anyway. Look, I think some of you online already know a bit of the story and just want a little bit more information. Others are seeing this for the first time. But today we'll be hearing from the CEO of Zellebrate Holdings and also Indy Mukherjee, who is the UK retail affiliate expert in the UK. He'll be talking about retail affiliate marketing and cashbacks and a lot of the ways that we're going to go about generating revenue in the company. So, and we've also got Carl Bennett online, who's who's one of the founders with Chris, and he's the Chief Technology Officer of the company as well. So, look, I'll probably just give a little brief introduction, and then hand it over to Chris, who can take you through the opportunity and Zellebrate, and then he can then introduce Indy, as he's affectionately been known, to take us through sort of like what he's been working on in the UK. So, look, I mean, in essence, I've been working on this with Chris for about 5 years now, and something that seems so simple is actually quite complex. So, for those of you who are new to Zellebrate, in essence, what they've created is basically an online marketplace for your local or your traditional bricks and mortar stores. So, and what does that mean? That's like, if you think of Amazon, all their products are located in a centralized portal online. Zellebrate are looking at doing the same sort of thing. Well, they have done it, but just focusing on your bricks and mortar, so your local retailers. So, Chris, I'll sort of leave it there and then hand it off to you so you can give us more of the story.
Okay, thanks very much for that, Andrew, and welcome everybody. I'm sorry we couldn't curtail that accident out there in Perth, but we'll get by. I might as well just go straight to the deck and walk you gradually through that. Indy will come on, as Andrew said, with some UK feel for it and the commercialisation, and then for questions, Carla can pop up and talk a little bit about the technology. But I'll share my screen and jump straight in. Okay, of course, the sheen sharing is disabled. So is Serena there, Andrew, to enable the screen share? Seems like one of those days where everything's going to plot against you.
Sorry, what's the issue, Chris?
Clicking on screen sharing, it's not allowing me. It says host disabled participant screen sharing.
Technology, it's one of the things. Like last time it worked perfectly. Yeah.
Okay, I'm the host now.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Back in power, just the way I like it. Okay, so I'm just going to the pitch deck. Okay, so welcome everybody, as I said before, and Andrew is quite correct. What we're looking to create here, well, we've built the technology to enable us to create it, is really, it's a platform for local retail. Local retail bricks and mortar is to give the power back to retail stores out there. Let them unite as one, represent themselves on one platform, just as Amazon's uniting a lot in the online space. Let's unite bricks and mortar. We know how much trouble they're in at the moment, and over recent years with online giants and the like getting into their market share, they are floundering big style. And local retailers local consumers not walking away because the spend in local retail is still massive, as we'll see. But local retailers, local consumers, it's so much easier for them to just jump on and look at Amazon first and see a whole plethora of products on Amazon and different suppliers. Whereas the alternative is to go in and out of websites to see all that happening for local retail and take 10, 20 times as long. So if we just scroll through here to the first main screen, what are we really trying to achieve from a consumer perspective? Well, we've all wanted to be at some stage, thought, wouldn't it be great if we could just look down at the palm of our hand and see whatever's going on around us when it comes to retail? Every product, every retailer, how far away they are, compare things side by side, all instantly. Then to even be able to buy instantly online for that retail product, or be directed instantly to stores. There's something that I'm sure everyone at some stage in their frustration of going in and out of Google, trying to find what's local, and inevitably you miss out enormously on all the little boutiques and all these other stores and offerings that are happening every day, and you're sort of going the easy route. That's Zellebrate from a consumer perspective. From a local retail perspective, there's no marketplace for it. There's actually no platform for it. There's no Amazon or Etsy or ASOS. There's no one-stop shop. Yes, you can go to Google. You have to put in a search. That'll come back with a minimal amount of results that's been fed it by the actual retailers, paying dollars for it. And then you just have to, apart from that, go in and out of retailers' websites. And then in and out of even the major retailers are suffering, because everybody knows you're not going to go to just one retailer. You're going to look at a sports school as well as a Suzanne's. So you have to go in and out, and that all just takes time. But with an Amazon, there's 50 suppliers. With an Etsy, it's the same thing. So it just makes sense that you have the same platform and the same power. And if you had that, you could unite local retailing digitally in the one space, and you'd be bringing them all together. Certainly our feedback is reflected from even the major retailers around the world. They love it. That concept is brilliant. So as I said, it would be embraced by local retailers. And if you then had attached to the app that fed that, what you're looking into, that had similar features and benefits to your Amazons and the like, then you're away. You have a direct comparison where it's convenient to go in and look at the different sorts of products in that retail, and buy locally. Because you can get deliveries. There's a lot of same day local delivery these days, or you can just pop down the street and get it. Now, what sort of marketplace are we looking at? So at the moment, even during COVID, it's possibly a little bit worse than this during COVID, but it's bouncing back as you would expect with COVID ending. The spend in local retail, this is in the developed countries around the world, is still 75 to 80% of all retail spending. And it's hard to believe, but that is the Australian Bureau of Statistics, it's the Census Bureau in the States. Those are the hardcore facts. That the spending, this is digital sales as well, so online sales from the retailers. So compared to the pure online plays, as I was looking at over here with your Amazon, your Etsy's, your Wayfair, your Walmart marketplace, your Wishes, it's 20%. So there is no platform in that great big pie of space. So the opportunity that represents to be representing that market. Now, these other markets, they represent it from an e-commerce direct sale perspective and the like, that we have ways that we can represent and get those sales as well from our local retailers that we can build into. But certainly the opportunity is that's the size of the market that we can go into. And we've done research, I've done research in the last couple of days to substantiate that there is nothing out there. And certainly the feedback we're getting from around the world, from big posts and the like in the UK, revealing there's nothing that's out there that doesn't. And we're talking a saturation coverage of that marketplace. So how do we do it? Well, we built technology over the last 4 or 5, 6 years. Had an MVP, mineral viable product, we released in Australia 2 years ago. It had 35,000 stores on it. It had 1.5 million products on average on it. About 3,000 retailers were on it, or about beyond it. And we hadn't spoken to a single retailer. So we generated that. The technology we built before that crawls over the internet, sucks up the data from what websites we identify with bricks and mortar websites, and we get all their locations, so we know where each store is, so we can report on that in the app. You can see where the closest ones are. So that's been a serious bit of technology that we have built, and Carl, the CTO, has, with the team, worked laboriously to get to that point a couple of years ago. Since then, and the feedback was such, we thought, well, this could be something really big. What if we went hard in Australia, got plenty of users and the like, and then thought, well, let's take it international. Could we do that? The answer was no. It would be just far too expensive to import our technology around the world. So we decided to shut that down and spend the last 2 years scaling up that technology, going global with it. So Carl and his team worked relentlessly on just automating and automating and automating, so we could get that coverage. We could go, there's all these, tens of thousands of retail websites in the US. We could suck that into the system and all their data and do it in, say, 6 months, even less, and at a very low cost, and the same in the UK. And on the side of that, we thought, well, let's create a tool that allows those retailers and the like without websites to actually load products into Zellebrate. So we've done that. So we really want to be all empowering to really create this fabric for this mass saturation and cover that section of that pie with a platform. And so that's been done. As part of that, allowing those without websites to put products up on Zellebrate, we actually provide them with a free website as well. So automatically they'll get a free website as part of it. And then it's just a little step to be advised on how to plug in an e-commerce to that back end, so they're truly digital all of a sudden. So it could be a market stall. It doesn't matter. Anyone that's out there local wants to make that jump, we can do it for them now in a breeze. And as Indy will quickly report when he has his little say, this has just gone through the roof before we're even releasing. So just the conversations he's had and the phone calls he's getting later on the day from not only retailers, but mechanics and cafes and all those to say, can you put ours up? Our websites are no good anyway. Can we use yours? So we really have covered that, we believe, with our tech. And so beyond that, the commercialization of it all. So the monetization hovers around this performance marketing. It's affiliate marketing, cashbacks are the two main players, and rewards are main players in that area. These are areas where it doesn't cost the retailer any money to actually engage in a marketing activity with someone. They pay you if you've performed. So if they've fed us links to their products via a conduit, an affiliate network they're called, or a commercial conduit, and someone on our website clicks on that link or an email that we've sent out with that product, and that link takes them back to that retailer's e-commerce webpage for that product, and a purchase is made, then we get a commission. It's all tracked. Indy will go into that in depth in a minute, so I won't take it much further. Suffice it to say, Indy has come on board. He's a master in this area. He took a website that represented some shopping centres in the UK that had just been closed down because the owner couldn't afford to hold on to them all last year. That was turning over $5.5 million with a 20% cost of sale just in the UK, just for those shopping centres, and just with 320 retailers. And Indy was commanding twice what the market was getting in the sales commissions, and he can explain why. Beyond that, we have big data, all the live data that we're collecting by people looking at products and being able to sort of like pop up those products that they like and do searches, and where are they at the time and what's their demographic. All of that is great fodder for reporting back into retailers on what's happening amongst their shoppers and amongst their competitors live. And then there's premium subscribers that will have an Amazon type premium deal where we will load in all sorts of special deals. There are loads of groups out there who want to support local retailer, as you can imagine, will charge a review of that. And then beyond that, we're all set up with our format and our technology to go to non-retail. We've already got deals with, as you'll see, with or not deals, we have approvals from your KFCs, McDonald's, and that in the States to start marketing their products when they're ready. So perhaps, Indy, if I just roll this over to you and you have a bit of a chat, 3 or 4 minutes about each of those things.
Sure. Thanks, Chris. Good afternoon, everyone. Nice to see you guys. So as Chris mentioned, affiliate marketing, it's fairly simple, to be absolutely honest with you. It's not rocket science. As Chris mentioned, what we will do is we will, in essence, create a shop landing page within the Zellebrate.com website. We will also do email marketing for the retailers. We will do social media marketing for the retailers, as well as write articles. Not just about sales and voucher codes, but about new in products and things. You know, a restaurant might have a new chef and things like that. So these are all things that retailers will pay for. The way we mainly make money, as Chris mentioned, is we will introduce a product through all those means that I've just mentioned. There'll be links to each of those products. Someone will click that particular link. It will take them to that retailer or non-retailer's page. Now, the bit that's interesting here is that we will get commission not only if they buy something or that particular thing within the next 30 days. So they don't have to buy it there and then. They can take their time, do some sort of studies about it, do some comparisons. But as long as they buy something within 30 days, we get the agreed commission. But the even greater thing is that they might have just gone in and been looking at a pair of shoes from this particular company. But let's say this particular company is a department store. So not only do they sell shoes, but they sell beds, they sell TVs, which are higher priced items. As long as they buy it all within that particular 30 days, we will get that income. We will get that commission. So that, that's what affiliate marketing is all about. It's all about partnerships. It's all about retailers understanding that this is the best form of marketing. They've done display advertising, they've done programmatic. All of that is, untested. It's kind of hoping that those adverts will work. Whereas here, I can actually go out and tell each retailer that yesterday, this is how much money advertising with us made you. And I can do that on a daily basis. As Chris mentioned, I took something that was an organic marketplace that made £152 the year previous to me joining, and last year I converted that into 2.9 million UK pounds. I only could work with retailers that were in our shopping centres, but by working with Zellebrate, that gives me the scope to expand it out to everybody in the UK, and then as we go to different countries around the world. We've had some really good feedback from channel partners. So the way that we will go and do the reach out is not just through these affiliate marketing networks, as Chris mentioned. There's quite a few around the world. There's some really established ones. AWIN is probably the biggest in the UK. Rakuten is probably the biggest in the world. But also I've been going out to the local councils and the local bids for those councils. And what they have been doing is they love the fact that we are helping local shopping. They see their own constituents complaining to them all the time, job losses all the time, business closures all the time, and we have come out of the ashes as such to say, hey, listen, we'll be your champions, we will promote you. As Chris says, we will create websites completely for free. Most of these local businesses don't really understand internet marketing. They don't have anyone in-house who can really do it well. So when I go in and say, I'll give you an example. I went to get my car serviced the other day, and the local mechanic was just asking me what I did, explained it to him. He showed me his website. I kind of said, well, if you tweak it here, tweak it there, this is how much extra money that you would make. Gave him examples of how I had done that previously. he's now got the 3 garages that he owns, and all of his friends that, whether they own garages, restaurants, painting establishments, we've got numerous amount of these sort of people coming out of the woodwork. We've got bigger clients as well. So through our cashback side of things. So cashback is basically us, again, promoting everything, but encouraging people to go inside a shop to make that transaction. And if they do that, they get a cashback reward. So the likes of Subway, McDonald's, KFC, who I've had before on Into, they've all agreed to come on board when we're there. In America, we've got one of the biggest companies in the world, Nordstrom. Yesterday, I had a second conversation with them, and they are so eager to get this over to the States and literally start trading because they've had a bit of a downturn themselves. So in essence, affiliate marketing is a way of making sure that retailers can get their products seen by the public, but not having to pay for that exposure unless we create a sale or we make a sale for them. And I'll finish off very quickly with some what I found was quite useful stats. Affiliate marketing, more than 81% of businesses use affiliate marketing to promote their products, generating a total of £6.4 billion in sales in 2018. And in 2022, that number is projected to reach £8.2 billion. Billion dollars. If you've got any questions and stuff, I'll take those later and I'll give you some more of those stats. But you know, what I'll end up on is to say that affiliate marketing is the future of marketing, and I've done it before, it's worked before, and here's a global chance to expand what I did previously.
Look, thanks for that, Indy. I've been informed that the screens haven't been moving forward. It's just not one of our days, really, with the crash on the technology and the slide sharing. Yeah, it was moving forward for me, fine, and it's the right screen, and Rob's just informed me it's not. So I apologise for that. You can all receive this deck and see for yourself. Just quickly, Indy, what was that last stat that you talked about there about the £8 billion and the 22 billion? What was that again?
So affiliate marketing, it generated a total of £6.4 billion in sales in 2018, and by 2022, so next year, that number is projected to reach $8.2 billion.
Now, this is in the UK.
This is a stat from the US.
Yeah. Yes, well, I say it's certainly going through the ref. Now, I put this on a reduced screen basis, so apparently this now yourselves can see, hopefully. So moving on, as Indy was saying, that we have, he already has pre-approval from your Nordstroms, your Macy's, Subways. Then in England, it's your John Lewis's. These are your major retailers across the board saying, we want you to come in and facilitate us market in through us. And that's unheard of for a product that isn't even released yet. That's because of the coverage we'll have, the local retail moniker, and of course the processes we bring in with Indy's heightened sense of being able to affiliate market. So I've just moved that screen forward. Can you tell me, Indy, whether that moved forward there?
Yeah, it did.
Okay, so I'll keep on that. So what this means from a foundation perspective and from a technology perspective is that as we move forward, we're using the technology that we've built, the crawling over the internet, extracting all the retailers and their data, globally doing that to project forward what that actually means in products. And you'll see there that we expect by mid next year that we should have about 25 million products on there. That's extrapolating what we've done in Australia. We can literally clone the technology we've built there. We have, Carl and his team have planted it over England and about to do England, and we will plant it then over States and do the States and the UK just by a flick of a button, and then going through the process of onboarding those retailers. So, and then the following year we'll have added Canada and France and Germany. and done more of the US. So that'll take it up to 50 million products. And we expect within 3 years to be between 50 and 75 million products on our platform, that instant one-stop shop platform. And that's the undercurrent for it all. Layering behind that are the direct feeds that Indy's team will be getting from the major retailers and all the other retailers joining that affiliate marketing system that we run through the system and get those revenues from. But with all that base of retailers and their products and the interest and the willingness for local retail to participate, and the hundreds of thousands of local retailers will have on here, then the ability for that to explode with local retail coming up and saying, we want to join this, the subscription network. We want to actually tap in and have people looking at our products and paying you to reward you guys for actually marketing into it as well. So that's where that sits. And by comparison, Etsy or the major groups around the world, valued at about 27 billion US when it comes to marketplaces, that has 60 million products. Walmart Marketplace has 52 million. Wayfair has 14 million products, and that's valued at about 28 billion. Now, we're not saying we'll reach those valuations within 5 years and the like, but because they have your online marketplaces and selling those products direct, but we certainly have that growth to go into that marketplace and the perception of what we're about. And that's going to be talked about. I mean, that is going to happen. There's Zellebrate, and it has all these products and growing beyond that, when we start to the rest of Europe and Asia over the next 5 years. So that's important. The technology edge, well, I've already talked about that and how that sort of works in the main, but we can ask questions after that and Carl will respond. Revenue projections, we put in some revenue projections based on a few of those income streams. By no means do we think we've covered anywhere near what the revenue streams could be, because as you see, with that opportunity of covering all those retailers, connecting into all those consumers, and that spend that's going on out there, Indy already has cinemas in the UK wanting to deal with them, book tickets in the cinemas, get commissions for us, selling food for them with cashback and the like, and all the big ones, KFCs and McDonald's in the US talking to them about the same thing and agreeing we want them to move forward. So those are indicative figures of where we would like the projections of the revenues to go. Half of that is anchored in what Indy's already done. So those figures that Indy's already done and the growth of country by country, if we just extrapolate that out and we start marketing into them with the affiliate marketing, then and then when you add on the cashbacks, which Indy wasn't doing within his previous position, but now will be, which sort of doubles those figures, then you can see the scale and the immensity of what's possible here is anything. But so there are some indicative figures. Behind the team, well, we've already talked about ourselves a bit. You can ask some more questions about us in the question time. Carl's had 20 odd years working in some big projects, usually in finance, but then later years with corporates such as TEAS, a lot of it geolocational, running teams, innovative, some projects managing billions of dollars for banks and the like. Indy, well, his profile, he's already described a bit of that, and we started from this last project and what he took it up to within 6 years, but he's considered quite the master at this across Europe and is quite the profile. And myself, I've been in this game for IT innovation for 20 odd years, worked around the world and had some big hits, some big wins in certain areas, getting product out there, and being an engineer, a project like this isn't beyond the scale of it all. So just to finish up, so we currently raised $2 million over the years and used that to get us a lot with it, including with the sweat equity. Our current raise is $2 million. That's to get us through, and actually we'll be releasing in the UK within, I think it's within now 2 months or so, 2.5 months, around mid-May, June. And there'll be a big marketing hit for the first couple of months. We have marketing experts been advising us on our go-to-market strategies, all anchored in what's been achieved before and getting subscribers that are in, cost of customer acquisition, and then that flowing through to how them being marketed to with the affiliate marketing and the like. So all those documents will be ready in a few days if anyone wants to canvas those and see for themselves. That will be in ordinary shares. Obviously, Rob and his team there are well equipped to ask any more detailed, answer any more detailed questions. And just then to finish off with, if it lets me go down to this last page. So I guess the reasons to believe, and just finish up because we've gone a bit over time here in just the talking part. Look, with COVID coming, the timing could not be better. We have councils talking to us ad infinitum now in the UK. Some have already committed to be marketing us right across their platform, run webinars for us, market out to their constituents, devote web pages to us on their website, promote us up the chain into government. The local environment, not only in the UK but elsewhere, because of COVID, there's this massive awareness of support. We must buy local, we must support local, and we've been identified as this group that can do it. And so I know Indy's meeting with councils this week, and perhaps you can talk about it before we finish this session. He's meeting online with up to 4 or 5 councils a day. That's been organised by the chairwoman of a group that represents a business advice to councils in the UK across the country. So there's something like, I think 25, 30 councils in these groups that are meeting with just Indy in one-on-one sessions for an hour this week. That's sort of the impetus and the traction we're getting. And these same entities exist all around the world, and we'll be following that around the world. So our exposure to get out there will be enormous, and it's already proving that way. The market size, well, we've already talked about that, that slice of the pie. I mean, to be there, sitting there, obviously, we're not saying that no others will come in, or some others may not pitch, whatever, but we have that tech advantage, we have that jump, and there's so much of that pie to sort of still hang on to and to grasp wherever that we see fit with that. And proven revenues, I guess, is the underpinning element of the commercialisation now. We have that sorted. Indy's already building up a team of experts there, same as he did in his previous job, and that will just gradually grow with a marketing thing around the world. So look, thank you very much for that. Apologies for the technical issues we seem to be playing today, whether it be out on the streets or internal, but as I say, you can certainly receive this presentation, and I'm all up for one-on-one Zoom calls with any of you there who would like to actually go through that first half, or anything that you like with that, and we can set up arrangements there. There's no issue. So I guess I'll turn it back to you, Andrew, and perhaps some questions. I can't hear you, Andrew.
No, we're going to unmute ourselves. Right, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, so look, if anybody has any questions, we just want to go through the chat. We can see how best to do it through the chat.
Yeah, so you can pop your questions in the chat. Alternatively, if you'd like to ask Chris a question, just unmute yourself and feel free to jump in and ask Chris a question. I
guess until that happens, Indy, do you want to talk about the council reactions this week? What's been going on, and what a bid is, a BID, and how
sure. A BID is a business improvement district. Is a business-led and business-funded body formed to improve a defined commercial area. So basically, each council support and fund these bid managers, bid teams, who suggest that for the local area, this is the improvements that they should make. This is the technology that should be brought in to improve that particular area. And so what I've been doing is I originally started looking at councils because I had a bit of a relationship with them from my shopping centre days, because I used to have monthly conversations with them. And that led very quickly to the fact that we were now concentrating at Zellebrate about local shopping. My local council, Aylesbury Vale District, Martin Tate, who's the chairperson there, absolutely loved the idea. He actually found my number from his members of staff that I had pitched to. He called me up and said to me that, look, we love this. We will support you. So they're actually giving us space on their website to promote Zellebrate. So we'll have a Zellebrate page. He's, when we're allowed to meet again, he's going to show me in meetings to local business leaders. We will have access to the email database. So there's a monthly newsletter that they send out. So Zellebrate will be included in that, and we will hopefully get subscribers free from each council. He's then passed my details on to his friends in councils around the country. So Birmingham City Council then approached me, which is a much bigger scale. It's probably the third biggest one in the UK. And similarly, the leader there wants to have further conversations, and we're now negotiating a similar sort of package with them as to what we can do from that side of things.
Yeah. Are there any questions there at all, Serena?
I think there was a question. So one question is the current app a prototype? Does it have the functionality we could expect from the commercial version?
It'll be fully commercial when it's released. Yes, we had a fully operational prototype back in 2 years ago, and we took it to MVP. That's been completely rebuilt by a team of professionals over here in Europe, a major organisation, and they have about 2 weeks to go. And we're looking at dev versions now, which are almost nearly there. So we're playing with it on our phones and on our desktop, and then there'll be 3 weeks or so of testing in April. So no prototype, it's fully fledged. Everything's been tested. The technology sits in that we've back in the day. So Indy's already building up a team and putting on, getting approval from retailers across the country to be able to tap into their affiliate network feeds.
Any questions from you guys in the room today?
So can I just maybe, because Chris, I've been speaking to some people that we've got here and online that join us through Zoom. So what's the pathway, from an investor point of view to obviously revenue floating, and obviously having the share is tradable and how do you see values growing in short term?
Yes, we have a financial model, extensive financial model that we've built over a considerable amount of time that reflects a listing around mid next year. That's certainly the aim. We're building up revenues from late this year. They will grow. We have with the US around October, we'll be starting to release over there, and back in Australia in October, Canada next year. So the initial price is 10 cents a share, and the projections on using some of those revenue streams we've shown. We're looking these are projections, so we're a startup, but we've got a 10-cent share that increases to $2.25, all goes according to that projection. But those projections could be 10 times more, it could be half that. So, but certainly there's those financial models are up for, they can be viewed, they can be assessed. They've got every sorts of variable under the sun that we're trying to get accurately. But yeah, so mid next year is the plan, and Rob and Andrew could probably talk more to that about the ASX plans.
Yeah, so look, I mean, the ASX plans are, we're just going to run this year and just get as many subscribers and retailers and revenue on as we can as possible. We'll then sort of revisit the ASX listing earlier this year. So we're looking at around about 12 to 18 months window for listing ASX. Our real goal though is US market valuations, and the money that you get over there 10 times what you can get over here. So we were talking to
a couple of people, a couple of sponsors over in the States to go on the Northern Seaboard. But ideally, within sort of like your 3 to 5 window, we want to be able to match that. So sort of our liquidity events. But ASX realistically.
And Indy, how do you, I mean, do you feel that revenues will from your previous experience and your other work with affiliate marketing, obviously the scalability and size of Zellebrate and what you told us about people's eagerness to, or companies eager to align themselves with the platform. I mean, because is there a minimum requirement in terms of revenue in order to list? Is there, or not really?
For the Australian market,
Yeah.
there is. I mean, you won't find it in any ASX documentation, but when you get to the national listing committee, they definitely do hard at the revenue and the growth that you've got.
Yeah.
Hence why it'll take us a little bit, but we believe by the end of this year we'll be advanced enough where we can really start the process of getting listed. So doing our submission, getting in front of the national listing committee, raising the money, prospectus, 6-month journey to get documentation right there. We start sort of like end of January. That's sort of 5 or 6 months from there. Realistically.
Perhaps if I could just cut in there, and probably not a bad idea, if I got the gist of a bit of that question, was for Indy to just respond to the sheer scale of how he sees affiliate marketing in particular grow into the future, not only in England but around the world, based on the trends and what you're seeing.
Sure. So, I mean, commission rates, they can range pretty much anything, from 1% up into, once I had established within sort of 9 months when I had established that this was something that really was beneficial for retailers and brands, I was able to then go out to the market and command a minimum of 10% commission. It's called CPA, cost per acquisition. So I had a minimum 10% for anything that was in the beauty sector, anything that was in the fashion sector, even electronics, which is one of the hardest things to get commission from. Traditionally, they're sort of around that 1-2%. I was able to command 5% from most electronics retail companies. There were some fashion companies that were so enamored with us that we actually managed to get well over 20%. The highest one we got was 35% from Jack Quills. We were used as vehicle for online startups who wanted to come to the physical world. So I don't know if anybody's heard of a massive unicorn company called Gymshark, but into myself, we were literally the first people to ever advertise them on a large scale outside of Birmingham, which is where they were based. So we were the first ones who actually nationally advertised them, got their sales, and then other affiliate partners came along. When I joined Zellebrate, one of the first things I mentioned to Carl and Chris was that, look, we can't just have a commission-only based, shop-based element. We have to have a content-based affiliate program, and that is because the affiliate normal program is, as I say, that link, and then you get passed over and we get a commission from the sale. But content publishers, what they do is they get that element, but also because they're writing a piece of content, they're sending an email, they're sending a social post for this particular retailer or brand, they actually get that money up front. So it's not just commission that we will get, but it's upfront money, what we call bonus, as well. So it's kind of a double hit. And then when you add cash back onto that, that's 3 ways of bringing in the income. What I then used to do is, within sort of a year, I had lots of data. So I would put subscribers in little different pots. So I knew I had X amount of people who loved department stores, for example. So what I would do is go to a department store and say, Mr. Debenhams, I've got a bunch of people who absolutely every time I put something on an email about a department store, they are all over it and open up that email social post. How important is that for you to communicate to those particular people, never mind everyone else I've got on that database? So we worked on a revenue share model and bonus models for that side. And even more important is I could then go and say to Debenhams and say, look, that department store bunch of people, well, actually, within that department store portfolio of subscribers, there is X amount. Every time I send something about Debenhams, about yourself, they absolutely love you. These are your loyal customers. So let's keep that same message going with them. But here is a subsection of people within that department store group that never open an email or social post anytime Debenhams sends it. So what sort of different message can we send to them to get them to really engage?
Sorry,
And
sorry,
that,
sorry, Andy, could I just cut in? I know we're just running out of time. It's just to sort of, so we can take some more questions, but just quickly, you mentioned before some statistics, just going into that question of globality and how you just see the trend of affiliate marketing, or just worldwide. Just quickly give a minute to that and then we'll take some more questions.
Sure. So some large publishers, Meredith in the US, the company earned £27.7 million through its e-commerce operations, which last year, which was a 26% year-on-year increase over the same quarter of the year before. BuzzFeed, which is probably one of the biggest social media publishers, saw its e-commerce revenue increase by 67%. Year on year from 2019 to 2020, and this year it has estimated that it will double the revenue again due to the shift towards affiliate content marketing.
So their content, their affiliate marketing, so they're putting products up there and they're getting click-throughs like our model, completely different because they're not a platform, but they're making enormous revenues just on affiliate.
Absolutely, yeah. And then, those guys, promote themselves, market themselves. But there's a group called 6 a.m. City. They do like reviews and stuff. Now, without any marketing, that publisher brought in 200,000 last year, and literally no one knew who they were. They just someone would go into Google, type in a retailer, give me reviews, things like that, and 6 a.m. City would come on board, and they just made 200,000 without doing that at all. In February 2018, a company called Tribune Publishing bought a 60% stake in a product review site called Best Reviews for $66 million. And this was their way of getting into the affiliate commerce business. Less than 2 years later, in December, Tribune sold that site to Nexstar Media for $160 million, earning them $96 million on that deal. So the possibilities are enormous, for people coming in on the ground floor.
Because Indy, I think, because I've spoken to a lot of people that are with us today, and I'm very excited about the whole thing, but, just to reiterate the fact that technology's done, the app works, we are in that $12 trillion market on our own, no other competitors, with a completely unique platform, which does heaps of things that I don't even understand totally, the functionality can give you on the app, a bit of a culture, a technology desert, but nevertheless. And I guess, again, from a guy of my vintage, I don't really understand affiliate marketing. I'm not a great internet person, but, just the sheer numbers, because of all this, the number of transactions, the number of visits to the usages of the app is just enormous. Because when you look at that presentation, some of these players are getting tens of millions of visits a month. Mm-hmm. So I think when I was speaking to the people that I was talking to come and have and listen to this, it's just the enormity, scalability, global size of this, all these little clips and all these transactions turning into hundreds of millions of dollars of revenue, and that just drive that share price up.
Exactly.
And I guess, as an investor myself, it's exciting to hear that it will get such traction. There's so many big major groups that are, and correct me if I'm wrong, that are clamoring to be part of this, which will then just keep expanding its exposure, which is what you're doing with these bids and whatnot, to get the people to download the app and use the app and be familiar with the app to drive subscriptions and users, and then the revenues, and then clearly onto the share market, and then away we go. Because I've heard it said here before that this is potentially what's called a unicorn company, which is something I never heard of until I got here. But it's $1 billion business, and what's exciting for me, I guess, and I'm trying to, and I'm sort of, tell me if I'm wrong, is that there's an opportunity here to get in on a really ground level on another Uber or another Amazon or another Etsy or another Shopify, because that's its potential, and it's a result. It works. This is not an idea. This is an operating platform.
Absolutely. I mean, I was, if you imagine, I was handcuffed before when I was working with Into, because as I say, I could only work with retailers that weren't into shopping centres. Even then, I was making millions of pounds for the shopping centre in commission levels. Now that the shackles have been taken off and we can work with everyone, not only the big retailers, medium retailers, but as I say, with Carl's ability to create these websites completely free of charge, that in itself, that is a multi-million-dollar business, creating websites. And we are now just opening that door, and we're saying, look, come to us, we'll create that for free for you. And then what we will do, the reason we do that is they then bring that business to us. We can then promote them onto the Zellebrate app, Zellebrate website. That's even more products for us to sell or to pass on to consumers. And the boutiquey little shops that have never had a voice on the internet before and are struggling at this moment in time, these are the people who would be absolutely loving us and are loving us, and that's why the councils are putting their weight behind us as well.
I think it's important to also note that what Carl and I built in what we call the boutique operation, where you don't have a website, you put your products up there and you put the descriptions. It's very hands-on. You've got to do it yourself. That's basically Shopify. That's exactly what Shopify do. Shopify is worth $140 billion, right? And we've created like a portion of it, but then we can go out and map everything else for the retailer. And we can just do it every day, 24/7, and nobody can stop us doing it. So, I mean, you're looking at that $12 trillion, and realistically, it's just another so big.
So this is competing with Shop. I mean, that was going to be my question. Are they the competitors?
No, not really.
Because
Can I just quickly cut in? Indy, did you have to go at 6 o'clock to your council meetings?
Yeah. I've apologies, guys. I've got another bunch of council meetings that are about to happen. So I'm going to say thank you very much for attending, and any questions, pass them on to Chris, and if it's commercial, I'll come back to you.
Thanks, Andy.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Sorry, keep going.
Yeah, so it just strikes me that I get the split between physical retail and online retail. It's often understated how much is online. The fact is, it wouldn't surprise me that it's pretty easy access for people in that 12 million chunk to be online, like through Shopify or through Amazon, apparel.
So they got
Sure. So who's paying for this? That's the question that I was asking before. Apologies, I was late, so I missed it. I downloaded the app and it seems to work like well. I kind of get it. But so just strategically, what is this? Is it a
so I think it's
another marketing channel for a business? Or,
it's sort of like it's a centralized portal for the local bricks and mortar. Right. So I think Amazon, you've got a website and it's absolutely you buy the product, the other products are online. If you can now think of Zellebrate
and there's a willingness to pay for that because it's cheaper, get access to a huge marketplace. So where's the willingness to pay for this?
Well, because it's convenient, because you're only going to sort of like get charged. Amazon is just it's a portal. They don't charge the product. It's not just a product. It's a retailer, so it's somebody to make the product. We go 25% sort of sometimes, plus monthly fees, plus, you know, all the rest. If you want to sort of get them to facilitate it, you pay more. You pay like 30% of the sale. So with this, it's basically gives you, and you don't get your customer base too, by the way. You don't get your customers.
Yeah.
You get like nothing. It's the same as Shopify. It's a pure distribution. Yeah. Some with this, you can still run it for yourself. You can generate your own customers. You get that database. You can go into them. With this, it allows you to interact with the retailer if you're a consumer. And it basically, like for a retailer, you don't actually have to pay them for the bill, but will do everything for you. It'll have all your products there. It'll have all your exposure there. When somebody sort of, if you own a fashion store and you're selling shoes, right? And somebody types in men's black shoes, right? Just by the very nature that you're on Zellebrate, you're going to have sort of like, you're going to be collected in all that search. And you only have to do one search. If you do a search, like you just sort of found out, and all the men's black shoes will come up in those stores. So you just go, right, I'll check on that store. I'll check all their shoes. Go to the next store. Oh, I like their shoes. That's just down there.
I don't want to bog it down stuff.
Yeah.
So barriers to entry for what's
Basically the distribution. That was our biggest barrier to entry, which
but very competitive, like some deals.
oh, it's hard to go and
Well, it's a
trying
very complex
So,
technology.
yeah, this first mover advantage.
Yeah.
massive.
Yeah, and it's a network effects type thing. So you're 4 or 5 years.
Perhaps it's an opportune time for Carl, because you're still with us and like to let him go, he hasn't had to say a word. Perhaps just very briefly, Carl, just describe the complexity of what it's taken to build that crawling technology that you've built that will suck up all these thousands of websites and their data and to globally scale it.
Yeah, that's true. We've been going for 5 or 6 years now, and we've probably rewritten our system 5 or 6 times in a major way. Each time learning from our previous failures until we've got to the point where we've got something that's scalable in a templated fashion that we can just pick up and stick into another country and run with confidence, because we've finally got a version here in Australia that the old app's operating off that does work, does perform, is scalable. We've got all the warts and the problems out of it and worked out how to make this fully reliable and self-sufficient with minimal staffing requirements to keep it going. So it's all highly automated. And I guess the major thing to point out is that a lot of the work, like an iceberg here, is under the covers. You don't see this. The app and the website points to the products and the details that are magically on the cloud. Now, we've had to put a lot of work in the background to get that information to where it needs to be so that apps and websites can search and present them. To get that information, we've had to literally look at thousands of retail sites and determine how to read the information off those sites. And as you can appreciate, no 2 sites are the same. They lay their information out differently. So the question is, how do we do that in a scalable fashion and actually be able to parse them with minimal effort? Well, the answer is that we've got several things in our favor. We've developed almost like an artificial intelligence, but a pattern recognition to detect where certain information is commonly located. So the system will have a crack at looking at a website for the first time unseen, and it will probably, depending on the type of site, either get it completely right, or it's got, a few things like it didn't quite find the correct photo for the product, or the description's not right or something. And we have a tool which our staff, and in fact, anybody that we wish to have used, allows you to look at the website, see what the system thinks is the correct information. It highlights it on their web page. It puts colored boxes around it. And if it appears that it's got the wrong information, like the description's too much or not the right amount, as a user, you just go in there and point on the website, this is where the description is. It highlights it as a box so you can see it and say, that's where you find it. And in the background, it creates a rule and tells the system to override what it currently has and says, that's where you find the description on this website. And away you go. And typically, within 30 seconds to 2 minutes, you as a user can go in, check what the system's doing it, correct it if it needs correction, or just leave it alone and say, you're done. And then the system can go off and traverse the entire site and gather all the information it needs. And then we have our full set of products and everything we need to know. And we go back to every retail site every day to get a fresh copy of the prices, which in itself is a large job, because you can appreciate when you've got thousands of sites and millions of products, you've got to go back and get a fresh copy of the price every night and look for new products that may have popped up and to get rid of products that are no longer there. So you've got to cater for all those things. So the background processing to do that is very complex, but it's been tested thoroughly, it's been scaled, and we can roll it out. So that's kind of where we're at now. And so we're really excited to be going to the UK off the back of using Australia, if you like, as a prototype or proof of concept.
Thanks, Phil.
So no easy thing to reproduce it,
Oh no.
and expensive.
Well, and it's the time, and it's just trial and error. I mean, the kids have spent 5 years, and they're at the top of their game,
Yeah.
like having to sort of like go out and get it just right. So every time you look at it, you basically think it's one virtual superstore. It's like it's incredibly difficult.
I guess one of the big things too is that we've built ourselves very nimble, so we can move very quickly. So, you know, from starting in the UK in June, we'll be starting in the US in October. Now, we're not going to be flooding the US and sort of like marketing to the whole US, but we can start. We can get a presence, we can get that interest, we can show that it works. Then Australia, you know, we can scale up seriously quickly. So by the time even a major group, a major app that had the resources and the power of money to do it, just the wheels of motion of them swinging around the ship and trying to build, and that what Carl has done, easily you'd see 18 months ago. So the first mover advantage here is enormous.